Good afternoon. It is my pleasure to welcome everyone to this amazing webinar on igniting your year and building your brand in 2021. Today's webinar is for entrepreneurs, professionals, students, businesses. We know that doing business and working and learning remotely has become our new normal, and how we navigate this will impact our success. 2020 was definitely the year of adjustment to the unexpected and preparation for the unknown. It is time for us to reclaim our goals and ignite our dreams. And 2021, we're claiming as the year of execution. The key to standing out and achieving success starts with one simple but very important element: your brand. As a community, we want to share resources, information, and address concerns in a way that is correct, helpful, and current. And as things are constantly changing, we're trying to come up with new ways to get through these tough and uncertain times together. It is my extreme pleasure today to introduce you to Ayisha Thompson, the founder of Envision Creative Art. She has helped businesses discover and develop innovative brand identities for over 12 years. She began her career in the fashion industry as a marketing associate for the luxury fashion designer on New York's famous Fashion Avenue. And Ayisha became a quick learner who thrived for challenges and became the firm's first youngest executive at the age of 22, obtaining the title of Chief Marketing Executive Officer. Through her diverse level of experience in various industries, she has mastered the craft of supporting small businesses and entrepreneurs with design and brand marketing services. With her support, clients develop strategic and impactful brands that speak to their target audience, increase brand awareness, and create captivating messages that consistently convert leads into sales. With her customized visual marketing solutions, clients receive the best of both worlds: the skills of a graphic designer with the strategic insight of an experienced brand marketer. I welcome Ayisha Thompson.
Hello. Hi, Ayisha. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Ayisha. This is
Happy New Year.
Yeah, same to you. It's just so great to have you on today. And what we're going to do is have a conversation about branding. We're going to break this conversation up into three elements. One, to talk about steps to discovering your brand. Two, keys to positioning your brand. And the third, experts' secrets to successfully marketing your brand. We are also going to allow for you in the audience who are on Zoom or on Facebook to ask Ayisha questions. You may put them in the chat on Facebook. You may put them in the chat on Zoom. You may also text them in if you are calling in to 22333 and type JHUWL in the message, and we will have all of those questions answered throughout this presentation. And without further ado, let me get right into the questions that we already have received. And also, I'll be putting your questions that you put in into the chat. And we're already starting to get questions. So this is going to be a real interactive experience I'll make sure to pepper them into the conversation. But let me start here with this question. How can someone turn their passion into a profit? And what is the first step to getting started?
So the first thing that I would recommend someone to do when you have a passion, now this is something that you really love to do and you're great at, is one, find your audience. Because a lot of times we have awesome ideas. I'm sure you can relate where we have great ideas. We're like, oh, this is good. And then you share it with your friend or your close family member and they're like, I don't know. So find your audience, and that's crucial. And then based on finding that audience, identify what their pain points are. So what are some of their problems? What are some of of their frustrations. And based on that passion, outline, okay, this is the solution that I have to these problems and frustrations. Once you've outlined that and you can stand confidently behind whether it's a product or a service, the second step is to definitely check your state's business registration database to make sure that whatever name that you're thinking of is available for you to use. So you check there. You also want to just do a random Google search to see who else exists, maybe outside of your state. And then most importantly, once you start like developing the process of, okay, I'm going to make this a business, also check the URL, right? So go on GoDaddy, you can go on Bluehost, anywhere like that, and check to make sure that that URL that you'd like to reserve for your business is available.
Mhm. Why is it so important to take the time to define your target audience? You just talked about telling my friends, telling my mom, telling my cousins about this, and they might not be as enthralled, but someone else in the marketplace might be enthralled about my brand. Why is it that significant?
It's so important because you really need clarity on who you're speaking to. So oftentimes when we create a service or a product, we think, oh, well, this is perfect for everyone. But then as we're marketing, whether it's on social media, whether it's through paid advertising, we need to connect with someone because we need to let them understand that, hey, I get you. I understand where you are and I have that solution for you. So by taking the time to really flushing out that customer profile, some people call it a client avatar or just your client demographic, you have a stronger connection on who they are and what they want. You need to know if your customer prefers Walmart or Target. That's a big difference, right? McDonald's or Chick-fil-A, right? So by understanding what their likes are and like their shopping habits and all those great stuff, it makes it so much easier to market to them.
So let me ask you this. There's some people who are on here, and I see this question already coming in. What is a brand at a fundamental level? How would you define the brand? And what, as people are thinking about this concept, we talk about ignite your year, building your brand. What is a brand?
So your brand encompasses so much, right? Your brand is pretty much the reputation that you develop for yourself, whether it's a professional or as a business, right? Your brand entails your identity, how you show up. Maybe that's your logo, your business colors, your website. Your brand entails the experience that that customer has. What do they have to say about you? Is it something where you give fast, prompt service, quality goods? What are they saying about you? That's your brand. Your brand is your story. Why did you start this? Your why? What's your passion behind pushing it? So your brand is so many things outside of just, oh, a logo or a website. It's the whole kit and caboodle that now you offer when you're interacting with other people or with, prospective clients.
So what are some things? Some people are just getting started. So
Right.
you have other folks who they may have their logo, they may even have their what they believe is their personal identity. For those getting started, what are some factors that they should consider when designing their logo or their brand identity or how they're going to show up?
So if you're just getting started and you're in the planning phases of really establishing your brand identity, and for those who are not familiar with that term, your brand identity is your logo, your website, your business cards, and things of that nature. Is one, think of what's going to represent what you're doing and what's going to connect again with that audience. So for example, I had someone reach out to me and said, okay, well, I do IT consulting and my favorite color is purple and I love butterflies, right? I said, okay, well, who are you speaking to? Well, professionals, mostly a male dominated industry. They're not going to connect with purple butterflies for our IT consulting company. So definitely start thinking about what elements, what icons, images will work when connecting. And color is important too, because, a lot of people don't realize there's a psychology behind color. Blue means stability and security, which is why we see it a lot in the healthcare industry. Purple stands for royalty and regalness, and that's why a lot of female bosses kind of incorporated in their brands. Green is growth. It represents a lot of natural-based products, organics, and stuff like that. So thinking about colors, thinking about icons when you're getting started, and most importantly, thinking about that tagline, because one of the worst things that can happen sometimes, especially as a young person just getting started, is you have this vision or this idea or this concept, but in looking at it, I may not get exactly what that is. So making sure that your tagline connects to what you do and who you are about. Does that make sense?
It does. And let me tell everyone, for full disclosure, I have known Ayisha for a number of years. I knew her as someone I just so admired and respected from afar. And there was this meeting that we got to go to, and Ayisha gave me her business card. And her business card struck me so much. And people just were talking about her strategic advice that she gives about brand designs. And so I knew I had to, we were going to be fast friends, but also part of my strategic circle. You are known, people know you as an individual that advises clients to be strategic about their brand designs. What does that mean? So why were people buzzing when I first met you about your strategy around branding? What does that really encompass?
So branding is so much more than just creating something pretty or something beautiful. You really have to be strategic about what you're trying to achieve. So the first thing that I always encourage people to think about, whether you're in business for a while or you're just getting started, is like, what is that big picture? Where are you 10 years down the line, right? Who are you speaking to? How are you serving them? What does it look like? And by looking at that, and you could take it two different ways. So for me, it's easier for me to work backwards. So I'm gonna give you my 10-year vision, and then I kind of break it down as I get closer. While for some people, they are able to start where they are and move forward, whichever strategy works. But it's crucial to really think of strategy, because you want to know where you're going. Just like in anything, you know, you need to have a game plan, a roadmap, a recipe. You need to have some crucial steps on how to get here, because we're in the beginning of the year, and here's what happened. We do these vision boards, and we go to the vision board parties, and we get
I see the big vision board.
right. We get super excited. We pull out all these pictures and we go hard on this vision board. And we even put it somewhere where we can visually see it, right? But guess what? We put out, oh, I want to make I want to have a 7 figures this year, or I want to lose 50 pounds. But like, what are we doing as far as mapping out a plan to make sure that that happens? We can't just leave it on the board and then expect that, wow, it's going to happen. So really like outlining your goals when it comes to sales, when it comes to growing your audience, when it comes to marketing and your metrics, like just mapping it out. And, you know, we kind of talk about that in like a special gift that a lot of people are going to be getting. But
well, yeah, people are going to be getting a gift if you register. If you register, you're getting something.
yeah, so if you did register, you're getting something super, super, super special. But we do have some more information on like how you can really like just map out your vision roadmap. And I'm big on breaking things down into quarters. And I think that works because a lot of times, again, as you know, people in business or small business owners or entrepreneurs, we have these large goals when it comes to revenue. And that may not be something that we can fully chew off in 1 month. So do it by a quarter, because it gives yourself enough time to actually digest and plan accordingly.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let me ask this question, because this one asked, how can, you talked about purple and color, so I want to make sure I get this question in at this point in the conversation. How can we change the resonation of that color in a male-dominated industry? How should we be thinking about sort of incorporating those colors as people are thinking about building their brands?
Okay. So to make sure I'm understanding the question, like how can we more so incorporate other colors that are typically identified with a certain group so that
Yeah.
it can, okay. So pretty much the main thing is that these colors and the meaning behind the psychology of these colors have just been what it is for so long. But I think the more that we push against the envelope and actually build brands or build visual identities that incorporate these colors but still connect with the industry, then it will become more accepting. So in the example I gave with purple, I mentioned that she liked purple, but she also liked butterflies, right? Now, if you're targeting a male audience, they're not really going to connect with the purple and the butterfly. But if you're speaking of more so like science-based industries or STEM or anything like that, and you want to incorporate the color purple, then maybe for you, your icons will be like the flask from chemistry, or, different, atoms, or anything that's more so science driven. So it's not necessarily that, oh, I can't use this color at all, but you still have to make it connect with your audience in some way. And as we do that, it will bypass that typical idea or bias that, okay, this color is just for a specific audience, because now we're looking past that to actually see what you offer as a
Yeah,
brand.
absolutely. So this question, we're going to move to the question of key to positioning your brand. What are some brand must-haves when starting a business or thinking about launching upon a brand identity in 2021?
So the most important thing with must-haves for launching your brand in general in 2021, as you mentioned, is that brand identity. So that incorporates your logo. You should definitely have a website. Don't rely on social media alone to market, promote, and to conduct business, because the moment something gets hacked or they go down, you lose a lot of information. So have your website, of course, have your business card, whether that's a physical card, a digital card. Um, Beautiful, right? Have that.
Beautiful.
And then your email marketing system. So, as I'm sure a lot of you can relate to or understand, is the fact that so many people are online, so many people are selling, and it's an overcrowded marketplace. So what you need to do is really establish that email marketing system so that you have a way to speak directly to your audience being people who just follow you, people who've done business with you, people who've just kind of connected with you in some type of way. And that will help you just kind of stay in top of mind with them, right? And then, of course, being consistent on social media. So showing up for your lives, posting, engaging in the comments, and things of that nature. Those will be the 4 crucial steps of really like taking your brand to the next level and igniting it this year in 2021.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. What are some ways to conduct market research as you're thinking about, understanding your market, getting to your market? What are some ways to conduct that research?
Okay, so there are different ways in which you can actually conduct market research depending on where you are. So if you're just getting started, an easy way is just to do some surveys, have different people, whether it's through Facebook groups or anything like that, have people give you feedback on the services that you're offering. You can do some competitive analysis, see what other people in your industry are doing based on how they're pricing their services, their sales journey. In addition to that, of course, if you already have a current clientele base, definitely reach out to them, get some feedback on their experience, ways in which you can improve or, make things better. And it's not necessarily only a certain time in which you can market. So for example, you can market when you're just getting, you can do research when you're just getting started. You can do research, if you're just launching a new product or service, or if you're even thinking of rebranding. It's always good to kind of touch in to see where you are and how you're being perceived in the marketplace by, external communities.
Mhm. Is there a particular time to do that? So, are you doing that research before you launch, or are there certain time periods when it's most advantageous to do that market research?
Absolutely. So if you're just getting started, I definitely recommend doing the research before you actually launch, because you will need that data in order to determine how you're going to position yourself. And that's the same thing if you're thinking of, again, launching that product or that service. Doing that research before, as that will help you to determine how you're going to show up or how you're going to promote that product.
Mhm. Now, you've given us a bunch of tips about branding, brand identity, but we know there's some elements of branding that most people forget about when they are launching their brand. What are those things that so we can write them down, make sure we have our notes right? What are some of those things that people forget about when branding?
So, one of the main things that people forget about when they think of branding is their brand promise. What statement is going to always remain true when you're servicing your clients? What do you guarantee? What is your promise to them? Right. So, that's the first thing. And the second thing is just the overall experience. So, a lot of times as small business owners, we're juggling so many different hats, from doing our books to the social media. And a lot of times we're even trying to do our own design work, not even getting into actually providing that service or selling that product. So it's really important to remember that experience. So I encourage you to map out your sales journey. From someone reaches out to you and expresses any type of interest, what do you offer them? Do you offer like some form of onboarding kit, some type of, consultation, things of that nature? And I'll give you an example to be more specific. I worked with a stylist, exceptional stylist, Latrice Monique, actually, and she helped me get ready for a photo shoot. And she was just on it. She was responsive. She was proactive. She just checked all the boxes. And I left having like an exceptional customer experience, but it didn't end there. Like a week after we closed the project, I received the package in the mail, and it was beautifully designed in her brand colors. And it was just a monogram hanger, but I was just like over the hill with excitement about it, because like that was the brand experience. Like she went above and beyond, and I will never forget that. And even with sharing it with you here, I'm still like so excited about it. So I say that to say that really take the time to build out your brand experience for your clients. Right. And then, of course, finally, your brand story. What are some things that, why did you start this business? What motivated you to do it? Like, what is your passion for helping other people?
Let me ask you this. We are at the beginning of the year. You talked about vision boards and setting goals. And we know so many have set goals for their businesses, for their personal. Can you share some tips that you found successful in setting, committing to, and achieving your goals?
Oh, absolutely. So, of course, I talked about thinking about the bigger picture, the 10-year plan. In addition to that, breaking down those goals into attainable tasks. So, focus on maybe one major goal for the quarter, and then actually outline like attainable steps underneath that big major goal. Right. If possible, get an accountability partner. There's so many different groups online, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, mastermind classes and things of that nature that you can, partner with other people who also have goals, maybe similar, even if they're different. And don't just declare it. Like I said, make a plan, make it real, right? And don't overburden yourself. I know for me, like, if I get my three non-negotiables done for the day, I feel accomplished, right? And that helps me to work towards like my bigger goal, my bigger vision of achieving my goals for 2021.
No, absolutely. I mean, I was talking with a mentor and friend on last week, and she said on Sunday, she gave this tip. On Sundays, she sets out what is her agenda for the week. Otherwise, so you will become a part of someone else's agenda. You'll become a part of their goals, and you will just be moving through the weeks and the days without setting and getting your agenda. But great advice you're giving. So let's ask this: how people are on digital platforms. A digital platform for everything. It seems like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. There's probably 5 others that I have not named.
Right.
Can you share the go-to digital platforms that you use to market your brand?
Absolutely. And definitely, if you have a pen and paper, this is the time you can take note of it, just in case you want to remember it. But like for me, for marketing my brand, like when it comes to online courses, I like ClickFunnels. I've used Kartra and Kajabi. Those are great products. Those are great platforms, excuse me, if you have a course that you want people to take, or like a membership-based site. As far as social media, I more so prefer scheduling. I do some live posting, but I also like scheduling. So if you are looking to better manage your time and schedule your social media posts, I'd recommend using platforms like Hootsuite or Sked Social. There's also Buffer.
Hold on. Say them slowly.
Slowly.
Okay, go ahead.
Hootsuite.
Okay, like
the hoot of an owl, so that's HOOT, and then suite, SUIT. So Hootsuite, that's a go-to. There's also Sked, SKED Social. I love Sked Social, or Buffer. And that's for just social media scheduling. If you're at a point where now you're seeking to build your CRM, if you don't have one, where you manage all your
CRM.
So your client relationship management system. And that's where you manage all the documents, the information, it's like a project management system.
Mhm.
My go-to is Dubsado, and that's Dubsado, Dubsado. I also have used Hello Bonsai. If you're more so in like photography or you're like a stylist or anything like that, I know 17 Hats is pretty cool too, and that's the number 17 and hats with an S. Um, there's just so many, and I know I mentioned email marketing earlier. So if you're looking for an email marketing platform, definitely MailChimp is great. It's free, for a certain amount. I think it's at least 1,000 or 2,000. You have Active Campaign or Get Response. So if you're looking for like a list, like a long list of some of the programs, the platforms I just named, definitely you can reach out to either myself or, Alicia's team, and I'll be more than happy to submit that list for people who didn't catch that.
Excellent, excellent. Yes, we will. Don't worry, we will post the list of what Ayisha stated. Make sure that it's in Facebook, but we also will make sure that we send it out to the list of folks who registered for this event. Let me ask you this: with everyone conducting business virtually now more than ever, I mean, everyone is virtual. McDonald's is virtual. I mean, they are selling hamburgers online. What marketing tips do you recommend to a small business seeking to grow their brand's online presence?
The first tip, if you're a small business just getting started and you have limited access to resources when it comes to funding, be consistent with your social media as much as possible. Create an editorial campaign. Definitely take advantage of one of those social media scheduling platforms, so it's not too much pressure on you to have to sign up and tune in every day to get it done. If you have a little bit more flexibility and you have some resources, definitely invest in digital advertising. Facebook ads is killing it. Instagram ads are killing it. I'm not as savvy as TikTok. I'm getting my kids to help me with that. But I believe you can also do some form of advertising on TikTok as well. Definitely create that email marketing strategy, have your campaigns, outline them, put them into action, and then most importantly, partner with other businesses. As Ayisha mentioned, we're all out here selling online, and we have platforms like this to just connect, network, and support each other. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. So let me ask this question, and then I'm going to jump into all of the questions that we have been posed. But what are some selling strategies that you've used to increase your sales online?
Okay, so I am what you
Not just
consider,
online, just in general.
just in general. So I'm what you consider like service-based, right? The majority of what I do is providing services to other small businesses and entrepreneurs. So for me, one of the things that I found most beneficial was to create a lead product. And what a lead product is if you're in services or some type of service-based profession, a lot of times we have to do like consultations, right? We have to gather all this great information from our clients in order to effectively support them. And that's often stuff that we don't really even factor in to our fees, because it's just like, okay, this is just a part of the process. We can't avoid it. So a lead product is a product that's created off of that intro portion of you providing a service. So for example, for me, if you came to me and you said, okay, I need help with branding and strategy, I have a ton of questions I have to ask you. I need to kind of see where you are and what you're looking for. So I created like a brand spark. And what the brand spark is that not only do I go through everything and get a full understanding of where you are, but we actually reveal things that you probably didn't even think about you needed, or, things about your brand that you never thought about in that session. And then in addition to doing that, I provide you with a brief where it's like, okay, here are the recommendations, here are some strategy you can implement. And you can either take that and go and do it independently or with someone else, or you can say, you know what, I like this, I'd like to work with you. So that lead product gives your client an opportunity to kind of get a sample of your work style and what you can offer without having to commit to a bigger package, because it's like at a lower rate. And then that way, instead of you kind of pouring so much out into that free consultation to get the business, you walk away feeling satisfied because, you were able to get something, from that. So definitely a lead product if you're in professional services. If you're in product-based services, just using certain marketing tactics like building in that shipping fee in that product price so that you can always offer free shipping. Definitely have a VIP list so people, you can get those emails generated or save them and kind of, give them incentives by monthly coupons or special offers, things of that nature. Offer decoy pricing. So instead of just having one straight, okay, this is my product, buy it, offer different bundles and ways in selling, your product so that people like options, right?
Mhm.
And then definitely engage. So, have that abandoned cart campaign
Sure.
so that just in case they forget, I forget all the time, you remind me and then I'm more likely to buy.
Let me ask you this. You talk about businesses, but can you you also do this for individuals? And so as a person who's thinking about, and as I look at the first question that one of the first questions that was posed, how do individuals think about their brand and how can they start positioning themselves?
Absolutely. So, as an individual or as a professional, as you're thinking about your brand, again, we go back to starting out with what's your 10-year plan? Where is it that you want to be? Maybe it's in a leadership position with a certain company. So, making sure that your digital footprint is polished and up to par, meaning that your LinkedIn profile is up to date. Anywhere that you have any form of presence online, it's polished and professional. At this point, we have employees looking at Facebook profiles, following us on Instagram. So making sure you're always putting your best foot forward. In addition to that, we also do professional dressing consultations. So making sure that, you have that solid professional wardrobe, you have those key crucial elements to allow yourself to not only not only present yourself from your knowledge and expertise, but also look the part, so those are some the key things in what you can do as an individual looking to really like take your brand to the next level. Always just thinking top of mind, how am I presenting myself in public? What are people having to say about me? Gathering those letter of recommendations now so that you can just build your portfolio for other opportunities in the future.
Mhm. Are there particular, one of the questions posed, do you have particular advice for someone who's young, who's just removing, just starting out, how they can manage their brand? They may be on Facebook, they may be on Instagram, they're on Twitter, they're on LinkedIn. How can they think about managing their brand?
So definitely going through and doing a brand audit, cleaning up your profiles, making sure you're staying up to date on any of your experiences, even if it's volunteer experiences, special projects you've done with other organizations. Keep that line of communication open with anyone that you've worked with so that they can give you recommendations, not only like written recommendations as far as like an email or a letter, but also like on LinkedIn, because everybody is like all on social media now. So doing little things like that will really help you establish your brand as a young professional.
Excellent, excellent. Let me ask this question, which was posed, which is one of the attendees said their audience is students. So I'm not sure if they're a teacher or if they have a product or a service that is for students, but how can she or he or she get them to connect on social media? So are there strategies to sort of targeting students or young people on social media?
Absolutely. So the first thing that came to mind is TikTok. Like that's like a big thing now. So if you really want to capture the attention of your students and connect with them online, maybe even start by just creating like I know TikTok is big in on dancing and movement. So creating some form of TikTok video to capture their attention, right? Connect with them that way, check in with them, that's gonna create a buzz for them to kind of like, oh, hi, Miss Such and Such did this, have them comment, stuff like that. And then once you get their attention, you can kind of lead them off of that particular site. So that may be like a group chat. I've heard teachers do that where they have a group chat, of course, keeping it professional and, telling them, advising them what is okay to share, doing something like that, or maybe even a private Facebook page, stuff like that.
Mm, excellent ideas. Someone asked let me also tell people you can continue to put your questions in the chat on Facebook, and you may also continue to text them in 22333 and type JHUWL. Let me get to this next question, which is, can you elaborate more on what a brand audit is specifically?
Okay, so your brand audit is a temperature check. It's really checking in on where you are as a brand. Again, if you're a personal brand, that's checking your digital footprint. So your social media profiles, making sure your resume is up to par, on whether you have them on different job placement websites or anything like that. So just gathering all that information that you have and going through it with a fine-tuned comb to make sure that it's updated and how you want yourself to be presented. When it comes to the business, your brand audit is really taking a look at just all your collateral. Is your logo clear? Do you have all the files that you need? Do you have what's called a brand style guide? So maybe you're at a point where you're increasing your team or you're outsourcing more. You want to make sure that people are representing the brand in a consistent way. So you have that brand guide, which is a booklet that you share with them and they know the do's and the don'ts of your brand. Your brand audit could also be, do my brochures or flyers need to be updated? Is my website updated, with my current vision, things of that nature. So just making sure everything is up to par as far as your brand. And then in addition to that, if you're like, okay, well, maybe I'm thinking of like a rebrand, that would be a great time to do a focus group with your current audience space to say, hey, what do you think about this? Like, how do you like that? And that way that can also help to influence any decisions you have in taking that brand to the next level.
Ayisha is giving great advice around the brand audit and how you can do that and the focus groups. And some people one question that's posed was, how often should you have a focus group? You talked about, if you're thinking about a rebrand, but how often should you have focus groups to promote your brand or think about your brand?
I think in general, if you just kind of want to do a temperature check to see what people are thinking or how people feel, I think maybe once or twice a year is more than enough. If you're keeping things the same, but you just want to make sure you're on the right path. Again, if you're looking to launch something, then you do that pre-launch.
Excellent, excellent. This question was posed as from someone in the audience. What is the best way to rebrand yourself from an image you're known for because you're starting a new venture? So for example, if you're known as an expert in event planning for nonprofits, but now you want to focus on event planning for only small businesses, what's the best way to think about rebranding yourself?
That's a good one. So, well, the first thing I'll say is whoever wrote that question, definitely reach out to me so I can dig deeper and give you more information on that. But just off the top, based on what you're sharing, the first thing is if you already have an established brand and an established audience, then all you would be doing, I'm assuming you already have your website and everything as well. So you would make an announcement, you would have like a division of, which would be like the main brand, whether your brand is branded by your name or it's a business, and then let's say this. One, you start your marketing campaign to that audience, right? You would use your testimonials from your old audience, your nonprofits, to kind of show that you have the proof in the pudding, right? But just start creating that. I wouldn't consider it a separate identity because it's the same industry, but just creating messaging that speaks to that particular audience. So hopefully that makes sense. It's so much more into that, but I would have to have a better idea of what you have as far as brand assets and stuff like that. But definitely just do it as a division of, and just have a whole new messaging based on that new audience's needs and where they are.
So one question that we were talking about, and you talked about this a little earlier in the conversation about this lead product. As you talked about people, introducing their brand. Should we be charging for the lead product? Yeah. Charging for the lead product, and sort of how do you gauge that?
Yes. So that you have to charge for the lead product because that's the way that you're going to walk away feeling okay, right? So the lead product is going to be the cheapest product that you offer. So let's just use numbers, for example. Say you have 3 packages. Your cheapest package is $1,000, right? Your lead product could be $500. And by 500, it's easier to swallow for the client who may not be at a point, maybe they can't afford the 1,000 yet, or they're kind of on the fence and they're not sure if it's worth the investment. So it gives them an opportunity to to experience your business or working with you without that big dollar item. Now, this is up to you, but what I do is, say, for instance, you were to come to me and say, hey, I'm interested in, my lead product is a brand spark, right? I'm interested in the brand spark. We've gone through the process, you've gotten your brand brief, and you're really excited and confident to go to the next level, which would be my main product. Then I give you a credit. So I'm like, okay, yeah, you already paid for this, but we're going to deduct that from the main product price. And that's an extra incentive to get that business. So that's up to you if you'd like to do that. If you do do that, make sure that you're pricing your packages accordingly to take into account that discount that you would be offering.
This is a good question. How should you go about rebranding your personal and or professional brand when you suffer from imposter syndrome? I'm gonna weigh in on this one, but you go right ahead.
Okay. This is a good one.
It's a good one.
How should you go about rebranding your personal or professional brand when you suffer from imposter syndrome? The first thing you got to do is you're going to have a serious talk with yourself to stand confidently in the value, in your value, what you bring to the table, right? So you use the word rebranding. I'm assuming that you're meaning that you're shifting in some way in either what you're providing or who you're serving, right? So at the end of the day, I'm sure that you're shifting because you found a reason, whether it's a passion or you found a need that you need to service. Stand confidently in what you have to offer. Because I know for me, that was the biggest challenge, feeling as if I had something to offer someone that was going to be different from everybody else. Why would they choose me? Right? And how I got over that is I realized that I told myself this, and I tell people this all the time. You can give 10 people the same recipe, but it's not going to come out the same because you add your own special essence to it. And you got to stand confidently in your essence, right? And if you struggle with understanding what that sweet spot is, that's what I call it. I do have an activity that I can share with you for free on how you can unleash your sweet spot. But like,
now they're gonna get this. Thinking that in addition, okay. This gonna be a whole.
But yeah, go ahead, share. Tell me, Ayisha, what you think, because you guys stand confident in that value.
No, I agree with you. I mean, I think wholeheartedly, you have to spend some time with yourself to really understand that value of your personal and your professional value that you bring. To Ayisha's point, you bring something unique every time. And the value doesn't change based on what somebody's going to pay for it. Then it's independent of the external valuation of others. You have to get to the core, like your core personal unique contribution professionally and personally, and it is there and it's significant. And you have to get to that core of like, what is it? And you can also, I don't ask everybody, but you should have, everybody should have at least one person that they can go to that's going to help them understand that and see it for themselves. And I had all my girlfriends do that for me. So I think that's just really, really, really important for you to get to core. But you are absolutely right. Tell us about the sweet spot exercise. People want to know about this.
Before I share that, I will say to whoever wrote that question, there's a book that I love and I read it every morning, right? A chapter every morning. It's called The Greatest Salesman in the World, right? By O.G. Mandino, right? I had to look it up, make sure I was pronouncing it right. But read that book. There's a chapter entitled, and it's like affirmations, right? A chapter entitled Nature's Greatest Miracle. I recite that every single morning because I am nature's greatest miracle. And you never forget that. So if you haven't read that book, definitely check it out. Like,
say it again so people can write it down.
It's The Greatest Salesman in the World. And the
author, books for that author.
I know, right? The author is O.G. Mandino. It's an older book, but it's phenomenal. Yeah. Right? I even have my daughter reciting that she's nature's greatest miracle every morning. But So to go back to the sweet spot, so the sweet spot is that special place that combines one, what's authentic to you as far as your skill set, your experience, your knowledge, right? And what you're providing to your audience. And again, your audience isn't always just like consumers, because if you are a professional, your audience are now like those people, those companies that you're seeking to support them as that professional brand, right? So that's that one section here. And then also, what other people are doing. So what are the other competitors are doing, right? I have a chart. I feel like I need to put, I'll have to send it to you, but it's a chart. And then it's the intersection that intersects is your sweet spot. So what your other competitors are doing. And then also 3, what is it that your customer needs? What is it that the client needs? By having full clarity on what that client needs, by understanding what exists in the marketplace as far as what others are doing, and by standing confidently in what is true to you, you'll be able to define and identify that sweet spot, that special essence. So hopefully that was helpful. I got excited for a minute. You guys have to excuse me.
I know. And Ayisha's amazing because I know she just talked about it for business, but I think what's really important, and I think one of the questions that was posed is someone understanding that sweet spot for them personally, right? And as they think about themselves as a professional. And I will tell you, it will morph over time because your experiences, who you are today, hopefully is not the same person you will be 10 days from now or even 2 weeks from now. You should grow. And we all do. And so that's a really important exercise. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe that'll be like a whole session. I think that would be an amazing session for people to sort of get their sweet spot and understand that value. That's a whole nother session, Ayisha. Now you got to.
Yes, I'm here for it. And we can focus on that professional, because that would be great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask this question, which was just brought in. If I'm changing careers and rebranding as a business owner, how should I go about building a network?
Definitely find your tribe using platforms like Facebook. Facebook has like a ton of different groups. So based on your industry and exactly what you're trying to do as a business owner, find those different groups, engage and participate. A lot of times they have different activities and themes for different days. That's one way of doing it. Now that we're living in such a digital climate, definitely look into the different events where it's like more so networking events, business owners just kind of getting together on Zoom and marketing to each other or partnering with each other. You can do that to help build your network. Word of mouth has definitely been like the key for me. So reaching out to your immediate network, reaching out to people who may have even known you as whatever it is that you've done before, and say, hey, I have this new venture, I'd love for you to learn more about what I'm doing, and just let people know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And LinkedIn is not, we have a LinkedIn session at the end of this month. So please come to that session. We're going to be actually showing a business owner how to change their LinkedIn profile to build their network. So that's a great advice. Let me get to this next question. We have a lot coming in. I'm trying to make decisions about which ones we're going to ask, because so many. This question is, do you think sampling lead products is an effective marketing tactic for small businesses to build clientele, or is that more of a tactic for larger businesses?
That's a good question. I think it depends on where you are. So I've worked with clients who they're literally just getting started. So say for instance, like you're a coach and you just got your coaching certificate or accreditation. I know some people start with actually doing pro bono work, so for you that may not be something that you would definitely do as first thing, the lead product to sell it. But I think honestly, regardless of where you are, you can have a lead product. It doesn't have to be highly priced. Your lead product could be $30, right? And it just gives them that preview of who you are and what you have to offer.
Yeah,
Because
no,
honestly, and then that goes, I'm sorry,
no, you're fine.
Ayisha, and that goes back to really knowing who your clientele is. Because at the end of the day, if you're offering a lead product for $30 and people are like, "Ooh, I can't do that," then that may not be your customer, because everybody isn't your customer.
Hold on, hold on. I need you to stop for a minute. I need you to say that again.
Everybody is not your customer. Everybody with a wallet is not going to always be for you.
Whew, that's important to understand that. I'll say from experience, Ayisha did the Spark for me years ago, probably about, I don't know, 3, 4 years ago. It was an amazing product. I'm not trying to sell products, but it was amazing. She does my my personal branding. She's a phenomenal woman. Let me ask this question, which came up on the timeline. How much time needs to pass for my business to be qualified as consistent? So how long does it take to be consistent in business or in your brand?
I mean, I think consistency expands over time. I can't put a specific time on it, so it just all depends. For example, if you're looking for consistency in how you show up as a brand, then that is just something that you'll always be doing. So from day one, staying true to your message, your values, your visions, and even your colors. When it comes to like social media, consistency again happens over time. So it may be 90 days out, for some 60 days, but just doing more than just like a week of just posting online. Like you have to like develop a routine of doing it.
Mhm.
Same with the brand. So
One point that you haven't made yet, but I think it's been a theme of what you have said thus far. The brand is not smoke and mirrors. It is real. It is who you are. You're not gonna fool people. Coca-Cola not gonna fool you. No, no, it has to be real because at some point you're gonna show up in living color. And if there's an inconsistency, totally. Can you talk about that? I know you spend a lot of time with your customers and your clients talking about this being authentic.
yes.
Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. Authenticity is key when you're thinking about your brand. Because Ayisha, you hit the nail on the head where it's like you can't just put this persona out there and think people are going to buy into it. And it goes back to, again, and I keep saying it, it goes back to really knowing who you're talking to, because they want to connect with you. So think of like your brand story. Right? Your brand story has to be transparent. It has to be real. It has to talk about, again, depending on what you're offering, like your why, your frustrations. What are some challenges that you went through that now allows you to now support other people? So it's not something that you should just think that you can just make it look polished or say the right things, because ultimately, based on the experience, based on the messaging, it's going to come out who you truly are. So you have to stay true to that. You have to stay true to that.
Yeah, no.
And I'll say another thing, and I'm sorry about cutting you off,
Oh no, you're
but
not cutting me
like
off. We're having a conversation. You can't cut off. You women talking. You can't cut me off.
something else, somebody reached out to me the other day and said, and she said to me, well, she was like, well, I want to take this website and I just want to change the words, and I just want that to be mine. And that goes back to being true to who you are when you're coming to represent yourself. You can't do that. Like, this has to be something that you sit down with and you have clarity, on what it is that you're trying to share with your audience, what it is that you're trying to do, and you take the time, even if you have support with a copywriter or a ghostwriter, you take the time to really outline how your brand is going to show up as far as your values, your mission, your promise, all of that, because that authenticity is what's going to sell.
Mhm. Absolutely, absolutely. Let me make sure I did not miss any questions. They are coming in fast. So let me get this question. Um, let's see. Let's get this one. Now, this is a good one, and it stems from what you just said. What are the most productive ways to refashion your professional brand if you or your business have taken hits? We know that brands are not, they some people have taken hits, professional
Right.
hits, hits on their business, someone bad review, someone having something bad to say about them, how can you think about a way to refashion your brand if that's been your experience in the past?
I'll start with saying you definitely have to turn lemons into lemonade. So if it's a situation where it was just like a bad review or a bad customer experience that kind of escalated and went viral, definitely standing up and addressing it, sharing with your audience and your community ways in which you've improved as a brand to alleviate these problems that may have happened in the past. As far as tangible things you can do, I always recommend like case studies and testimonials. Walk them through the process with you, so show them this is where like we started, these are some of the things we've implemented to improve, and this is where we are, not only as a business but even how we show up and support our clients. Like that would be my biggest tip on really like coming back from a hit. If it's something so detrimental to the point where you have to do like a full rebrand as a business, then just again like standing confidently in your capabilities, learning from your mistakes, and already pre-planning for any potential problems that may happen in the future. And then when it comes to your personal brand as a professional, reputation is an interesting thing, because it's like once you take a hit on your reputation, a lot of times that's hard to overcome. But what I will say is align yourself with people who are not only professional, but also credible, that you can now prove yourself to, so that they can now vouch for you. And I think that will be really important as a professional who may have had some obstacles in the past, to really be able to prove themselves, because somebody's going to give you an opportunity, and you're going to have that voice, that brand ambassador supporting you outside of what you're saying.
Yeah, no, and I think all of us know mistakes happen.
Mm-hmm.
Mistakes, even big ones. But really owning up to them and moving past them quickly can really help you. Let me allow for us, I'm going to run out of time, but I am not going to run out of time in this session. So I want for you to just say a word, some recap, some important points. What do you want people to leave with today? We had the title, Ignite Your Year, Build Your Brand in 2021. What are one or two things you want people to leave with, Ayisha?
Definitely be strategic about your plan, whether it's building your personal or professional brand this year in 2021. Most importantly, stand confidently in your value. You have to be your own cheerleader, right? In addition to that, take the time to write things out. Map it out. I'm telling you, it helps you to be accountable, even if you're your own accountability partner. So those are the three things that I would definitely say. Be strategic, map it out, and stand confidently in your value.
Excellent job. So thank you so very much. I really, we have to tell people to register what they're getting.
So if you registered, you are going to get the Book of Envision Success Planner. And in this Success Planner, you have so much information. You will have your vision roadmap, you have your quarterly game plan, you have a profit plan sheet for every quarter, so you can like map out your services, your products. You have areas where you can write down the book. So you need to write down the greatest salesman in the world, write that down as books to read. It shares your aha moments. I know we're out of time, so I have these in here because they're like awesome pages I love to share, but it's so much great information that you have in here.
Getting one. We're all sending one straight to you.
Yes, we're sending one. And then just as a reminder, when you receive it, there's a QRC code on here. Scan it, because it actually gives you a course, Ignite Your Year course, on what you need to do to get started, to do your biz spring cleaning before you even start using the planner. So definitely don't forget about that. It comes with your planner.
Yep, and everyone's going to get one. You're going to get one in the next, hold on, the U.S. mail. We don't have any control of the U.S. mail, but you are going to get your planner, so that you can really put everything. And we appreciate all the nice comments people are putting in about this session. And we don't worry, we're going to bring this back again. I think we should do this again, right, Ayisha?
I think so. Yeah, absolutely.
We have to do it again.
Yes.
Tell people how to get in contact with you.
You can reach me by visiting my website at envisioncreativeart.com. I'm actually doing a free masterclass on mindset shift next Thursday. You can register online. You can reach me on Instagram at envisioncreativearts or email me at info@envisioncreativearts. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get feedback on what you got from this course. And Ayisha, thank you so much for the opportunity to just chat with you today. Thank you to John Hopkins. Thank you to your awesome team.
You are welcome. You are an amazing Black-owned business in our community, and it's my honor to have you on here. This was a treat for all of us. Let me make a couple of announcements, and then we're going to close out. On January 12th, which is next Tuesday, we are going to have a Harnessing the Power of LinkedIn, Building and Branding Your Best You. We are also going to have a business on there in real time who's going to see how to enhance their LinkedIn and how to get sales, market, build their network in real time. You do not want to miss that. That's at 1:00 on Tuesday. On Thursday, we're going to have Entrepreneurship Matters. This is going to be all about ice cream. Nicole Foster with Cajole Creamery and Science Simpson with Tahaka Brothers will be on. That's a sweet Entrepreneurship Matters again on Thursday at 1:00. Please follow us on JH Connects on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Email us jhconnects@jhu.edu. I want to thank our community partners, Johns Hopkins University, Johns Hopkins Health System, Hopkins Local, and again, Envision Creative Art. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day.